بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear viewers in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In today's session, we are going to read verse number 261 of Surah Al-Baqarah, the second surah of Al-Qur'an, another parable for those people who spend their wealth in the ways of Allah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء والله واسع عليم. The translation of this verse: the parable of those who spend their substance in the way of Allah is that of a grain of corn. It groweth 7 years, and each year hath 100 grains. Allah giveth manifold increase to whom He pleases. And Allah cares for all, and He knows all things. مَثَلُ الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ. First thing, that this is the parable of the people who spend their money with first condition, فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is the way of Allah? The way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to help the poor and the needy. The way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is to spend, to support the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you see the people are the agents of falsehood, the agents of Satans, they are spending millions and millions to spread their falsehood, their obscenity, their nasty characters to prevail in this world. They spend millions there. Then the forces of Rahman, wa ibadur Rahman, those people who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what they are supposed to do? Spend their money to support this deen. The first thing is, fi sabilillah, they spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second condition which is given in the next verse, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ ثُمَّ لَا يُتْبِعُونَ مَا أَنْفَقُوا مَنًّا وَلَا أَذًى لَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Those people who spend their money in the way of Allah, then they don't follow whatever they have spent with favors, or saying favors to those people to whom they have given the money, or injuring them by their remarks. For those people, they got their reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is no fear would be upon them, and they would have no grief. This is the character of Al-Jannah. Because in this world, you got the fear. You got the fear. What is going to happen to me tomorrow? If I was sacked from my job, what is going to happen to me? You got this fear, always that fear in your mind. This type of fear is not there in Al-Jannah. Grief. People die. Your own beloved one die, and then you got the grief. There is no such grief in Al-Jannah. So this character, وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ, that is the character of the people of Al-Jannah. And the third condition, the third verse, قَوْلٌ مَعْرُوفٌ وَمَغْفِرَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن صَدَقَةٍ يَتْبَعُهَا أَذًى. قَوْلٌ مَعْرُوف, good saying, and asking forgiveness, that is better than a charity which is followed by injuries, by harmful remarks, by showing favors to the people. So these are the three conditions which are laid down here. If you want your money, your sadaqah, your charity to multiply, and that is the example which is given here, whatever you spend in the way of Allah, كَمَثَلِ حَبَّةٍ, that is just like one grain. That one grain, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that grain which comes out into 7 years. And each year got 100 grains multiplied by 700 times. Who is doing that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As it is said one hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, كل عمل ابن آدم يضاعف الحسنة بعشر أمثالها إلى 100 ضعف إلى 700 ضعف. Every action of Ibn Adam, the son of Adam, is going to be multiplied 10 times, 100 times, 700 times. إلا الصوم, except for fasting. And that becomes a hadith Qudsi, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, إلا الصوم, except for fasting, إنه لي وأنا أجزي به. It is only for me and I am going to reward for that. What is amazing here, that your prayer is for Allah. And in the same way, your zakat is for Allah, your hajj is for Allah, your recitation for Allah. But here in this hadith, the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, fasting is for me. Why? Because a person may be praying to show off. A person may be giving a lot of charity so that his name is known among the people and he could acquire a big fame among the people. A person may be going for hajj to be told or to be declared as hajj. Everybody is addressing me as al-hajj, 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 and he is very happy to listen to this word. Except for fasting. Nobody knows you are fasting until you are the one to tell the people that I am fasting. So, fasting is such an act of obedience which is done only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why Allah has promised a very special reward for the fasting people. Now coming back to this parable, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies your whatever you spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wallahu yudha'ifu liman yasha. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies for whom He likes. And then let us take the ayah of Surah Al-Hadid as well, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, Man dhal ladhi yuqridu Allah qardan hasana fayudha'ifahu lahu wa lahu ajrun kareem. Who is going to give Allah a good loan? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala multiplies for him. And then he got a very, very generous reward. Look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who gave you money. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so kareem that He is saying, though the money is coming from Allah, He is saying, amwalahum, amwalakum, your mal, your money, your money. Mal is attributed to yourself. Though you did not acquire it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to you. But still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so generous that He attributes that money to you. All right, now it is your money, spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The beauty about Surah Al-Hadid is that in Surah Al-Hadid there is a description of hypocrites on the Day of Judgment, which we have the relevant ayat we have read in a previous episode, that on the Day of Judgment everybody got his light, and the light of hypocrites would be snatched away from them and they would be left into darkness. And before that description of munafiqeen is this ayah, Man dhal ladhi yuqridu Allah qardan hasana fayudha'ifahu lahu wa lahu ajrun kareem. Who is going to give good loan to Allah, so He multiplies it for him. What do we understand from these ayat? That nifaq or hypocrisy is treated by nifaq. Look at these two words. Nifaq is treated by infaq. Nifaq is hypocrisy and infaq is to spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the person who got nifaq, hypocrisy, how could he take away that nifaq from him? By infaq. Spend in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how you can treat your nifaq. Now here there is, as far as spending in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is concerned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised a lot of rewards on the Day of Judgment. And this is going to give lot of satisfaction to those people who spend in the way of Allah. Even if you spend just a 1 dirham, a tiny amount, that is known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The person who spent or who does an atom weight of good action is known to Allah. وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ. And the person who does an atom weight of evil, he is going to see it as well. And as I said, that is a great relief. Don't think that if you have done a very tiny amount of work for Islam, or if you have spent just a little money in Islam, in charity, Allah is going to know about it. Yes, Allah knows everything. Allah is going to develop that. So it is better to deposit in the bank of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than to deposit it where you just expect some interest. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said about interest, يَمْحَقُ اللَّهُ الرِّبَى وَيُرْبِ الصَّدَقَاتِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deprives the money which is involved with interest from all blessing, from all barakah. وَيُرْبِ الصَّدَقَاتِ, and He increases sadaqah. That amount which you give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that is increased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the main difference between the two things. Money which comes through interest, there is no barakah into it. See the life of those people who got millions, and they got more millions coming out of interest. They got no peace of mind at all. And then see their end as well. Sometimes they got very miserable type of death as well. Their own houses are split. There is a breakage in the house. The wife is not with the husband. Husband is not with the wife. Why? This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken all barakah and blessing from the interest. But when you give it in the way of Allah, by way of sadaqah, it is all blessed. Here in this world and also in the hereafter. وصلى الله تعالى على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.